Okay, so some lessons for the quiz that's going to be tomorrow. I'm going to post it around noon, and then you'll have about until 2 o'clock to do it. Please stay tuned for instructions on the update section. The first part is going to be on the tangent, and I know I've said it many times that the Pythagorean theorem is the most important thing that we're going to study this year. And that's going to continue, okay? I know from having studied math, what are some things that maybe if you miss or we don't cover because of the quarantine that aren't critical, and what things are absolutely essential. So Pythagorean theorem, absolutely essential. With the tangent of the circle, remember the tangent of a circle is perpendicular to the center of the circle. All right, so if I'm given, here one leg is 5, this radius here is r, and we're informed that from here to here is 3. So this full distance is 3 plus r, so we did a few problems like this. So again, Pythagorean theorem, 5 squared plus r squared equals r plus 3 to be squared. Make sure you know how to expand a binomial square, which is what r plus 3 is. So that becomes r squared plus 2 times r times 3, which is 6r, plus 3 squared, which is 9. I subtract r squared from both sides. I get 25 equals 6r plus 9. 16 equals 6r. You can reduce that to a decimal and round. This is 2.66 repeating. 2.67 is fine. 2.6 is not fine. Okay, I like things to be rounded. Like, think of money, $2.67, right? I don't need 2.678. Okay, at the end of a problem. When you're in the middle of a problem, it's best to hold on to as many digits as you can. All right, you can check this out. 5 squared plus 2.67 squared equals roughly 32.14. And then 5.67 squared, 3 plus 2.67 is 32.14, so that would equal that. Okay, a little bit easier problem involving this might just be, a simple, let's say we know that this full distance is 17 and this distance is 12. What is the radius of the circle? Okay, well, it's Pythagorean theorem, 12 squared plus r squared. I'm using r because that's the radius. If you use x, that's fine. Equals 17 squared. 144 plus r squared equals 289. Subtract 144 from both sides, I get r squared equals 145. R equals the square root of 145. Okay. You don't have to worry about putting that in best radical form. If you did, 145 may already be in best radical form, and it is. Okay. All right, so those would be some of the sample problems. Look at the homework, okay, from 12-1. And then we'll look at the equation of the circle, which is going to be, probably 2/3 of the quiz is going to be about the equation of a circle. Obviously, you'll have your notes. So the easiest question I'll give you, perhaps, would be x minus h to be squared plus y minus k to be squared equals r squared, which is really just a, what's the word I'm looking for? a variation of the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, this is the x distance squared, this is the y distance squared, and r squared is the hypotenuse squared. Okay, so that can be helpful in understanding some of the problems. So I have here, the best circle that I could draw with the axes, center at 4, 2. Now, if I have this here point -1, 2, you should be able to just count, right, and see what the radius is. Okay, so if you have a problem like that, the radius would just be 5. From 4 to -1 is a distance of 5. So the equation for this circle would be x minus 4 plus y minus 2. X minus 4 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 25. Why isn't it 5? Well, because it's r squared. 5 squared is 25. You could put 5 squared there, but that's not best math form. Okay. If I have, let's say the center of the circle, ignore that, was -4, -2, then it would be x plus 4 squared and y plus 2 squared equals 25. Okay, the sign here is very important, h, k being the sign. All right, the harder problem is if we did some of these for homework, and there's the video that I uploaded. If I'm given a point on the circle and the center, what is the equation of the circle? Well, here I already know the center, right? I already know the left side of the equation is going to be x plus 2 to be squared plus y minus 3 to be squared. The question is, what is the radius? All right, and how do I calculate the radius? Well, I use the distance formula, okay? The distance from this point here to there is, and I use r again because it represents the radius. You may remember the distance formula. That's where I talked about the owl in the first semester. All right, that equation. Okay, so -2 minus 1 to be squared plus 3 minus 6 to be squared, all under the square root sign. When I simplify it, I end up with the square root of 18. I can leave it like that. We don't really need to simplify it. If you did, it would be 3 square roots of 2. Don't worry about that because we're just going to expand it to 18 anyways. So the equation for the circle here is going to be x plus 2, because this is minus 2 minus a negative. Please do not put minus a -2 here, all right? Put x plus 2. Do not put minus a negative. I saw that on some of the homeworks. Okay, it was okay for the homework. Nobody says minus a negative, okay? How much money did you make last year, LeBron James? I made minus a -$30 billion. No. Okay. All right, so x plus 2 to be squared plus y minus 3 to be squared equals, and then I just take the square root of 18 squared, which is 18. Okay, let's do one more problem like that. I'm going to get a different answer here because I'm going to use different numbers, which is A-OK. I'm going to pick a different point on the circle. So let's say I have a point over here. It doesn't necessarily fit proportionally, but let's just say this point here was -3, comma, -5. Okay. All right, so R equals, this radius equals this distance. So it's -2 minus a -3 to be squared plus 3 minus a -5 to be squared. Okay, r equals the square root of -2 plus 3 is 1, so 1 squared plus 8 squared. Okay. 3 minus a -5 is 8 squared. R equals the square root of 65. Okay. So if I wanted to write that out as the equation of a circle, I'm going to have x plus 2 to be squared plus y minus 3 to be squared equals, and then the square root of 65 equals 65. Okay, so I got a much different answer there, but it doesn't fit proportionally. That's probably a lot lower than, or wouldn't equal -5, but that's okay. We're just plugging in the numbers. Alrighty, email me if you have any type of problem that you want me to work on. I may have you do a problem, oops. Maybe I'm not meant to do that. But I may have you do a problem where I give you a circle equation for a circle and then I have you draw it out. But those can be a little bit tricky. So I probably am not going to have you draw any circles. Okay? Hang in there. Those of you that did it, turn in the 1 to 36 assignment and have the zeros, make sure you do that as soon as possible. The longer you wait to turn it in, the less credit you receive. And if you don't do it at all, you're going to have a 0, and that's, devastating to your grade. So, alrighty, good luck.